The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. So wonderful to be here with all of you today. I am so excited and inspired. I'm hanging out with Mindy and Rich and the entire Living Full Out team, and we're here to motivate you, to help you get to where you want to be in life. And that's, a big, grandiose statement, I realize, but honestly, it's true. We have to all realize that life is going to layer on us. For me, going legally blind was not in the plans when I was diagnosed at 16. It happened. The lines on the road started to disappear and I had to give up driving. It became increasingly harder to see people's faces and make that eye connection. Imagine connecting with people without being able to see them. It's actually very difficult. But despite all that change, all that came with losing my vision, I kept pushing forward. I kept sticking to my dreams and pursuing them. And then sure enough, here I am with you today. I'm still in entertainment, still in radio. And what I learned from that whole experience is that even if I go blind, I can still do what I love. And that's an important thing for all of us to consider. What is it that you love most in life? What is it that you're shooting for, your goals, your dreams? Know that they are absolutely attainable. Now, in time, if life sends us those curveballs, which it will, you might have to adjust your vision just slightly. If there's something that you want to do and maybe physically it isn't possible, then find a way to seek assistance. Maybe others can help you attain that goal. There's clients that I deal with all the time that have various disabilities, and they still do physical accomplishments. They just do it with others who are helping them. Same goes for if you want a certain career. Know that anything is possible. You just might need to seek additional education. You might need to shadow somebody and really learn if that career is really what you want to do, or maybe you thought it was something different than it actually is. Life is about letting it layer on you. It's testing, it's tweaking, it's seeking resources, asking for help. And part of that is tapping into a show like this. We are completely dedicated each week to helping you move your life forward. And today is no different. We have a very special guest coming up in our next segment. Her story is sure to inspire you to want to take action in your life. And we are here. Our lines are ready for you to call. You can call that number. It's 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. Living full out is something that's going to take time. We don't always know right away what we want in life. You might want instant gratification. You might know what you want for dinner tonight. You might know where you want to travel this year. But you might not know everything that you want because as human beings, we just naturally evolve. And we have to sometimes taste an experience to know, yep, I love it, I want more of it, or not my thing, don't want it. So I want you to consider over the show, what is it that you would like to do this year? What would you like to accomplish this week? And more importantly, with the rest of the day ahead of you, what's one thing that would make you so proud that you did today so that you can go to bed tonight knowing I did it? consider all that during the show. And our callers are no exception. You guys are here and are courageously calling in to seek that assistance, that advice. In fact, we're going to go to the lines now. We have Keshawn. Keshawn, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us, what's on your mind today?
I recently just had a child, and I was just wondering, I know it's going to take a while, but I was wondering how long does it take, or how long will the process be before my life feels like it's back to normal?
That's a good question. And first of all, congratulations on your little one. You are living full out. You just brought a new being into this world. That is a miracle. So congratulations on that. But beyond that, how has your life changed?
Well, there's a tiny human that I have to take care of now.
Right. And so that's an extra responsibility, and that's kind of like that takes time out of your day that you would have had for yourself or other things. But how has it changed you as a person?
In every way possible, actually.
Really? So tell us, give us one example. What does that mean?
It's definitely made me more patient. That's for sure.
More patient? Okay. How about one more way?
It makes everything better.
Okay.
It's only a week old.
Okay. It kind of brings more joy into your life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So getting back to a normal life, getting back to where you were, the past is in the past. You are this new, extraordinary version of Keshawn. You're a mother now. You fall into those mother groups that you didn't fall into before, It's not to say that who you were in the past, you have to leave completely, but you have actually evolved for the better. You're a new, brighter version of you. So when you consider about going back to your life, don't consider going back. Consider moving forward. So now that you're a mom and you're patient, you have all this joy like inside you, take that joy and run with it. Connect with other moms. Learn from each other. Turn to your girlfriends that maybe have kids or don't and say, oh my gosh, this is like wild. I can't believe this, and that. Share with people your experiences. Are you doing that, or are you just kind of right now, maybe because your little one's so new, surviving?
Just surviving.
Okay. And that's a fair answer too. So use that patience to extend yourself into the new you as you can, because I get it. Surviving is something we all do. But every day, think of one way in which you can tap into something that you love or reach out to someone and share about your new life. What could you do today? What could you do today that would bring you joy?
Maybe just go outside, go for a nice walk. That'll be nice.
Okay.
Enjoy some of the sun.
And is that something you used to do?
Yeah.
Right?
I've just been so tired since.
Right. Well, and you know what? That's a very honest feeling, to be tired. And that's very real. I'm sure you're feeding every couple hours. But actually, yeah. I'm sure you've heard this. When we work out, it's tiring to think of working out, but it actually brings us more energy. So you might have a renewed energy by walking today. Not only will it bring you joy and it'll be something that you used to do and now you're doing it again, but it also energetically boosts you. Yeah, so if that's something that you think you can do, then we're all going to hold that space for you. When you get out the phone, I want you to pack up the stroller or carry your little one and go for a walk. Maybe put on some music in your headphones and just be you. But remember, it isn't about going backwards and tapping into who you were. It's about acknowledging the fact that, wow, I'm a mom now. And there's all these other groups of people that I can connect with in addition to all the friends and families and hobbies I had. I mean, you just went up a notch. Life is going to be really great for you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And will you do us a favor? Stay in touch with us. Let us know how it goes. Call in again and keep us posted. And what's your little one's name?
Devin.
Devin, sweet Devin. Okay, well, we hope that you have a wonderful walk. And like I said, keep us posted on how things go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keshawn. Have a great day.
You too.
So there we go. That is a perfect example of life changing. That's a huge change, having a baby. It's also a huge change for those who in life have to take care of perhaps aging parents. Or, again, if somebody has a disability that they didn't have before, life is going to make us change sometimes. We evolve, new versions of ourselves get created. So for everybody listening today, let's all cheer her on that she goes on that walk, because again, she's on a new adventure, and Keshawn, we know that it's going to be an exciting one of twists and turns. But again, we all are on our own adventure. So think about today in your life, what can you do that you haven't done in the past? Maybe you lost track of something or someone. For me, I love to karaoke. I love to sing. Just did that last Thursday for my birthday. I loved it. For me, I love to work out, do my Jane Fonda videos. I know that may seem old school, but that's just who I am. So it's really important that we don't lose track of what we love to do. Just make a new dedication every day that you're going to do something that you love and that you're going to try new things, because again, we're evolving. So the Living Full Out Show is live. That number to call in is 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. When we come back, we're going to have a very special guest, Chris Barta, and trust me, her story is one that has inspired me to take action in my life today. We'll be back after this break.
This is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
Yeah, how about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Chances are there'll never be an emergency ever again. But just in case, let's talk about a plan.
Okay.
Who is going to grab the go bag?
What's a go bag? It is a bag we do not have that is filled with things we really, really need in an emergency.
Guess we won't have to worry about it then.
Well, this is great. I am so glad that we don't have a plan.
I know.
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You take your 6-year-old to the playground. You watch her go down the slide, then run over to the swings. Another mother strikes up a conversation. You take your eye off your daughter for just a few seconds. You look back at the swings. And she's gone. Your heart drops into your stomach. You jump up, your eyes searching. You cry out her name.
Lily? Lily?
From the top of the slide, you hear a voice.
Mommy, watch me!
Every parent knows that feeling. Imagine if she were actually abducted. Go to wirelessamber-alerts.org. Sign up for free Amber Alerts on your cell phone. When an Amber Alert is issued in the areas you've chosen, you'll receive a free text message. If you spot the vehicle, the suspect, or the child described in the alert, call 911. Sign up today at wirelessamber-alerts.org. A child is calling for help. This message brought to you by the Wireless Foundation, the U.S. Department of Justice, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. It's so great to be here with all of you. And today is so special because this community, we're all energetically working together to build our lives up, to reach our goals. And so again, we are live. I want you to call in if you have any questions or need motivation around a challenge in your life. That number is 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. Now, we've all had those crossroads in life where life is tough. Life is challenging. We fall down. We got to get up again and fall down again, get up again. That's going to happen. The thing is integrity, who we are at the core, is when we stand up, when we say, I'm not going to take that in life. I want more, or I'm going to achieve my goal. But sometimes that duration of getting up and falling down, that can be a day, that can be a month, that can be years of struggle. And we've all had those experiences. For me, going legally blind, I've been dealing with it since I was 16. It's been years, decades of crawling and reaching and trying new visual aids and, dealing with losing my vision and seeing people, you name it. That's been a really tough struggle. So over the course of the show, I want you to think of the struggles that you've been going through. How did you survive them? What did you learn? This is the time when you reflect, and then you also take those reflections and you plan. You take action in your life. Now, our guest today is no exception to that. Wow. She did crawl. She did test and tweak and try all sorts of things to lose weight in that category. A lot of us, sometimes you might want to lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 50 pounds, or even 100 plus. Losing weight is tough because it's so enjoyable to eat. It's so enjoyable to go out and have drinks with a friend. But then in a blink of an eye, we turn around and wow, we feel heavy. We're tired. We have back pain. We can't move the way we used to. And so I'm very excited about Chris's story today because I think it's so relatable to what we all are going through. And again, as we talk to her during this next couple of segments, listen for the life lessons that she's learned. Make them relatable to your life. Because that's what this community is about. It's not that each of our situations are going to be exactly the same, but when we survive and trauma in our life or a challenge in our life, it's about sharing those lessons, not keeping them inside. I have the secret. I'm not going to tell anybody else. No. Share that secret. Share it with everybody. Because we want, when we get to the top of the mountain, right? We don't want to be there alone. We want to be there with all of our friends and family and more. So I want to welcome to the show Chris Barta. Chris, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Well, thank you, Nancy.
Hi. Boy, I was just telling our community here how excited I am for your interview. I mean, truly, it's inspiring. I'd like for you to take us back, though, because, you experienced not just one stroke, but 2 strokes, and that was related to your weight, to how heavy you were, correct?
That is correct, 100% correct. Everything that I was putting in my mouth, it was contributing to, my sleep, my blood pressure, my cholesterol, everything, and I was not taking control.
And how, at your heaviest, how heavy were you?
I was 50 pounds over my ideal weight. And like I said, even though my 2 strokes didn't really quite wake me up yet, it jolted me, but I had to stop, I had to challenge, and I had to choose on what I needed to do to get healthy.
Gotcha. And so when you were at that time in your life and you were heavy, I know in our conversation previously, you felt depressed, right?
Oh, I was definitely on, mood enhancements. I was very, very depressed. I was very recluse, didn't want to go out of my home. And Nancy, to this day, it's still very difficult and very dark to go back to that area and that time. I didn't want to walk by a mirror. I didn't want to, if it's summertime, it was so hard to go outside, because I never felt comfortable in my own skin, let alone, even in shorts, which I never would wear.
You know what? And I appreciate you being so honest because, so many of us have worn the loose clothing. When you go out to dinner, if you don't wear something tight, it gives you that little extra give. It doesn't matter the weight that you are, the number, but you just feel it. And when you are slightly over where you want to be weight-wise, it makes you feel energetically tired. And what was the biggest tipping point for you that made you go, you know what, I got to make a change?
Well, Nancy, to answer your question, like I said, I had 2 strokes at the young age of 40, and it really didn't wake me up. My cardiologist told me I needed to lose the weight. And as probably a lot of your listeners, we've tried everything. I even came up with my own thoughts of, reasons to try to lose the weight, and it just never seemed to work. So I did something very selfish and self-centered, and I thought if I did liposuction and I sucked the fat out of these areas, I would get healthy. And I should have gone down the interstate and literally just thrown that money out the window, the thousands of dollars out the window, because it did not change my mindset at all, not at all.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up, and thank you for sharing that, because again, I'm sure that's a very vulnerable time in your life, but it just kind of brings up the theme that we've all heard before. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. The thing is when something is easy, liposuction's expensive, it's not cheap, but to just suck the fat out, that doesn't equal long-term results, right?
That is correct. It's a quick fix, and there's not such a thing as a quick fix. You have to make that mental shift of, the only thing I'm in control of truly in my life is what I put in my mouth. Mm-hmm. And so I had to awaken and transform and connect to get myself and plugged into an optimal health community.
Well, the interesting thing is, at that time in your life, did you believe that you could even lose the weight?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
I had tried everything. I was so down and out, Nancy. Every thought that crossed my mind throughout the day, from the time I woke up to the time I had laid on the pillow, I thought of a diet. I thought of something, and nothing seemed to work.
Well,
it consumed me.
Well, and thank you for bringing that up, because, eating disorders of various kinds, that's how those occur as well. It's like if eating consumes you, if dieting consumes you, then you're not able to live your life full out. You're concentrated just on one little sliver of who you are. And, you were sharing with me too that, your sister had a heart attack even, and she was overweight, correct?
That's correct. She's the one that introduced me to this community of health of like-minded people, and she had a heart attack at age 46. And she's dripped on me and dripped on me and dripped on me and said I needed to get into this health community, like-minded people. And like I said, I tried everything. My husband's like, really? You're going to try something else? But he never gave up. I know he was discouraged, but as well as I was. But, we have a daughter, and I couldn't go to the park with her because I was so tired, or to even put on a pair of tennis shoes, or I didn't want to see anybody at the park because I was the heaviest one of the mothers at the park. Things that I wasn't even thinking of my daughter. I was thinking of my weight.
Now, the interesting thing is about that, and you and I have talked about your daughter, when you started to learn better habits, when you started to tap into a community of health, that's when you actually were always a good mom, but boy, did you up the ante. You taught your daughter life lessons that none of her friends know. And I'm kind of going to save the bulk of that for our next segment, because honestly, you evolved into such a great role model. And we just had a caller who just had a baby and is in her own stage of evolving. And so you're such a perfect example for those that tell everybody that, hey, who you were does not define who you're going to be in the future.
That is so true. That is 100% true. And if there's anybody out there that's listening, if I can do this, you can do this. And never, 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 never give up. Never.
And for all the people listening who are those supporters in someone's life, like how your husband was for you, I think our instincts are to protect those that we love, to not want to see them fail or get hurt again. But, you know, I love that he said, okay, if you want to do this again, but he stood right beside you and said, let's do it together. We're a team. This is a family that's going to go through this together, not just you.
That is correct, because, you know, if I didn't have the love and support of my family and the like-minded people and my health coach and the caring and the love and the leadership, I truly don't know if I would have made it, Nancy. It would have been more of a struggle. You know, I was always falling and brushing off my knees and my elbows, but I just kept getting back up. I didn't lay on that couch.
Well, and for those that don't have that community, that family to support them, what would you say to them? Like when you were in it by yourself in that depressed place, what internally did you tap into to stay motivated?
Well, I plugged into an optimal health community. And if somebody's interested, they can, you know, reach out to you to get more information about that. And I had a health coach that literally held my hand throughout everything. And we just didn't focus the needle on the scale. We looked at physical health, mental health, financial health. You know, I wanted to have time for stronger relationships, community involvement. My sleep was horrendous. I didn't sleep.
Well, and when we come back, Chris, because we're going to go commercial break now, we're going to tap into what you did to get healthier. So everybody stay tuned. The goodies are coming. We'll be right back.
Ahoy there, matey. How's the fishing this morning?
Shh! You'll scare the fish.
Oh, nonsense. Fishies love the safety pirate. Now tell me, I see you're wearing your life jacket, and that's mighty smart of you. But have you taken a boating safety course?
I have. Now, could you please leave?
So you know to stay alert by not mixing alcohol and boating, don't you?
I do.
But I bet you didn't know it's dangerous to speed on the water. Now, did you, Turbo?
Actually, I knew that.
Well, smarty pants. You seem to know it all, don't you?
Yep. Maybe even more than a safety pirate.
Watch your mouth, sailor!
When you're out on the water this year, make sure you're being safe. Learn the boating rules and watch out for other boaters.
And remember to boat smart. Boat safe.
A message from the National Safe Boating Council.
I want to change some things.
I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
I want to make sure my little brother and his friends have a safe place to play.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school.
Help more hardworking families learn how to budget and save.
I want more of my neighbors to have access to health care.
Want to make a difference? There are so many ways you can. Help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I mean, I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back, our lovely Living Full Out community. Boy, we are just having such great calls today, and our special guest, which we're coming right back to, Chris Barta, sharing such an inspirational story with us. I just want to make sure everybody is really taking this in today, and know that after this show, I want you to really put yourself out there. I want you to reach out and call somebody that you haven't. I want you to reset your goals. It's the weekend. It's the time to look forward and know that July is not over yet. The year is not over yet. Your life is not over yet. So much can be achieved. So much can be reconnected in your life so that you are living your life full out. And Chris Barta, our guest today, is a perfect example of that. She never gave up. She kept going for her goals. Even when life disappointed her, she said, you know what, I'm worth it. And it's important to know that we are all worth it. We all can be and do anything we want. So I'd like to go back to our very special guest, Chris Barta. Chris, again, are you there for the show?
I am.
Hi. So you were bringing up something at the end of the segment that was just really important. And that was the fact that you could have done every diet in the book. You could have spent all the money in the world. However, until you made the mindset change, until you believed in yourself, that's when action really took place. And you were just starting to tell us about those secret tips that you did. What finally made the connection for you?
Well, Nancy, I did not want my husband and my daughter to bury me at a young age. And so the first thing that a person has to do is they have to make the decision. They have to decide if they want to change. And then the second step is you have to start. Put that one foot in front of the other. And the hardest part is to make that decision, to decide that you're going to finally do this. And once you make that mental shift in your mind that, hey, I'm no longer going to be living sick and tired. I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to change for the better. And I want to leave a legacy, and I want to help and create other health for other people. I have to get myself healthy. And one was to obviously lose the weight, of course. I needed to get my body moving. I hardly ever, like I said, got on a bicycle with my daughter. Absolutely not. Physical health and then mental health and then financial health are the three keys to reach balance. You need all three of those to have an optimal health. And so, like I said, you have to make the decision, and then you have to start.
You know what? I love that. And it's just as easy as that in the words of making a decision and just start. And it might just be walking around the block. Then it's 2 blocks. Then it's 3 blocks. It might be, starting with salad, and then maybe you get more and more aggressive into healthier shakes or whatever. But it's just doing something. And when you do make a mistake, when you do fall, I love to lose weight like everybody else every now and then, but I do love my mac and cheese. When you would fall, when you would have a day where you got off your diet, off your exercise plan, what did you tell yourself?
I'm never going back to that dark, horrible place ever again. It's very lonely. I don't wish my worst enemy to ever be in that environment that I once lived. And the only way I could get out of it is for me to crawl out of it for myself. I couldn't hire a personal trainer as much as they wanted to work me, to the point that I was so sore. It was really my making that awakening and transforming and connecting with myself, saying, hey, Chris, get up. You can do this. You can eat better. You can, maybe a block could be difficult, Nancy, for some people, just down to the end of the driveway and back. Hey, it's difficult. Weight bearing is tremendous on your joints and your knees and your ankles. And, even a block was a lot for me, to be honest with you, right out the gate.
Have you had a moment, maybe you've had a couple, when you look in the mirror today and you almost cry because you can't believe you've evolved to who you are today?
Oh, Nancy, you bring tears to my eyes.
Tell us about that moment.
I'm so thankful that I'm no longer living in that dark moment, that I got myself out of that dark, lonely moment. Even though I had a loving husband and a wonderful family, I was still very lonely. Mm-hmm. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I wake up every morning and I jump out of bed. And what, you had asked me once, way back when I first had met you, about fear. I kick fear in the teeth. I have no fear. I can accomplish anything. And if I can't, you darn well know I'll try 110%.
Mm-hmm. And, I believe that in you. I believe in choosing our words in life. And the way that you talk today is so intentional. It's words of action. And I think it's important that our community today hear that, because when you talk about yourself, well, wow, that can really make an impact, right? How many times did you talk about yourself negatively, but now it's positive? It really boosts your energy, correct?
Oh, yes. I mean, Nancy, things that I said to myself back in those horrible days, I would never say to my daughter or to a loved one. Never. And I would say those things over and over and over again in my head.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up your daughter again, which I think is so great. Again, everybody listening, Chris has evolved, and I believe that the legacy as a mother that she has given to her daughter is just outstanding. I mean, your daughter literally sits with you in the car sometimes when you're talking to a client that you're coaching, and she's learning all these great ways to eat healthy and be healthy. And I mean, I bet she is above the clouds compared to some of her friends who are dealing with image concerns and issues.
Yes, she is. And, I was concerned at that at the beginning. Now that I'm helping Nancy, I help lots of people. But I was very apprehensive to have my daughter sit next to me and listen to the conversations with my clients or patients. And I'm no longer, because I am paying it forward and I'm educating. And along the way, she's getting educated as well. And so I'm dripping on her as well. So hopefully she sees her father and her mother now very healthy, that she knows right from wrong. Now, granted, she's a 12-year-old, and does she want an ice cream cone? Of course, she's a child. But we do things in moderation. We don't eat the bucket of ice cream like I once did. You know what I mean?
I want an ice cream cone. I'll take an ice cream cone. Sounds good. But you bring up so many good life lessons in this interview. But one of them is the idea of dripping. I think it's so interesting. People are paying attention to everything we do. Our friends, our families, strangers on the street. We all have the ability to drip. We all have the ability to leave positive impacts on all those around us, whether we know them or not. And your sister dripped on you, you're dripping on your daughter, if I'm using your languaging. But the fact that we all have the ability to touch someone, opening a door for somebody can make a difference. Telling somebody you're proud of them can make a difference. I'm sure along your path, people said things to you that just kept you going.
Oh, yes. And once you become healthier, and I'm not just talking on a scale, I'm thinking mentally healthier, it's amazing how those little mean voices stop in your head. And you shake them out, and you don't hear it as often or hardly at all. Or you don't hear the mean things that come out through somebody's sharp tongue. You find more positive energy, and you want to be around those people. And it's making me pay it forward and keeps me accountable for my own personal journey, because, Nancy, our health is like laundry. It's never done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, now you just reminded me about my laundry. Thank you. No, I'm kidding. No, honestly, you're right. You're right. It's a life commitment. It's a life mission. And losing weight is just one aspect of our life. We need to be healthy to not overdrink, to be in healthy environments, to not be around smoke, there's a lot of things for us to consider. But again, Chris, you are such a dynamic example of somebody who, learned the life lessons. Sometimes you heard them and ignored them. Sometimes you heard them and put them into action. But either way, you did it. And so for our listeners that are listening today, we're not going to obviously give them like a health plan and a eat this, do that. But if you had to give them some motivational words of wisdom, which I'm sure you have a lot of them, what's the big takeaway from today that you want to make sure they do or hear?
stop with the negative thinking. And, we are in control of what we put in our mouths or what we put in our body. And manage your stress. Change your outlook on everything. If it's writing down one goal and you just put that on a piece of paper, nobody needs to know. But, as long as you have the will and the desire, whatever the case may be, whether it's eating or, drinking, whatever the case may be, if you have the desire and there's a little light still within you, trust me, that light can get huge and that can make you grow, and you can accomplish anything as long as you have that desire. And if you don't have that desire, sometimes, especially your show, Nancy, we can give that little spark, and we can drip on people, and eventually that light will come to people, and they won't give up.
Never lose hope, right? Never lose hope. We
believe in it more than they do.
Exactly. Well, and if our listeners want to reach out to you to get advice, how can they reach you?
My number is 402-672-5647.
Well, Chris Barta, you are just, like I said, I'm so proud. You are a diamond in this world, and you're making a difference every day. And I'm so proud to have you on the show today. Thank you for all those valuable lessons that you shared with us.
Oh, thank you. And Nancy, don't keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing.
I promise I will. And together, all of us will motivate each other. All of us. Thank you so much, Chris, for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
And for everybody listening today, again, we're going to be coming back with more great calls that are all going to teach us how we can live our lives full out. It is never too late. Don't lose hope ever, because life is worth living. You fall down, you just get up again. But you get up with fire in your belly. You get up with desire and passion in your heart. That's a large part of what it means to live full out. And I believe in all of you. So we'll be right back after this next break.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever, so take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I'm getting a catcher's mitt.
I'm getting ice skates. I'm getting a devastating flood.
Adults are generous. We're even giving kids global warming, but we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
The following commercial is sponsored by FeedThePig.org, an organization devoted to helping you save money. We will not entice you with messages like
lowest prices in town, dealer approved, certified pre-owned,
no obligation consultation,
nor will we brag about our
huge selection, enormous variety,
one-stop shopping,
everything under one roof,
or promise
prices reduced up to 75%.
A sale like this can't go on forever. Factory liquidation.
Financing options available.
We will offer no contingencies like
see store for details.
Prices and participation may vary.
Legal exclusions apply.
No purchase necessary.
Or try to convince you that our product will give you
leaner, tighter abs in minutes.
Perfect smile. Porcelain veneers.
Freedom from those painful, embarrassing bunions.
Because we simply want to help you spend smarter and save better. Log on to feedthepig.org. Find the benefits of saving for every stage of life. Brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Living Full Out is about stepping forward each and every day. You know, all the guests and all the callers on this show have been wonderful examples of taking action and really evolving into who we want to be. This is your opportunity to live your life full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
So I don't know about you all, but I am so motivated to walk around the block today, go out and eat something healthy, to really embrace my life in a big way. I hope all of you are also feeling that motivational tug within you because, again, life is great. Life is this journey that is just full of laughter, some tears, but even in the teary moments, we learn so much about ourselves and who we can be and knowing that anything is possible. We're going to be going back to the lines. We have Jennifer. Welcome to the Living Full Out show.
Thank you, Nancy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hi, thank you. So tell us, what's on your mind today?
You know, I'm in my early 50s, and I've been having some stress trying to manage balancing my kids' needs. I have 3 kids between 14 and 20. And my older parents who are in their 80s. And it's just an awful lot. I'm not quite sure how to get everybody's needs met and make my day-to-day flow smoothly.
If we could only duplicate you 2, 3, 4 times, right? You know,
yeah, I understand that. I'm probably not the only person that's going through this.
You are not, but you know, it's actually very real for many of our listeners, the same exact situation that you're in. And you know, what do you think is one of your best qualities that you give to your children and your parents?
I think one of my strengths is I'm really good at getting stuff done. So if there needs to be a doctor's appointment or, you know, a child needs to get some like logistics done, I'm very good at that kind of stuff. I'm very good at that sort of thing.
Gotcha. And that's important when you're balancing all that you are. What do you think is one aspect of perhaps that balance or your ability to give to others? What is one thing that you feel you should work on?
I am not the most empathetic person in the world. I'm really good at the pragmatics, and I really make an effort to kind of get up into people's minds and see how they're feeling, but sometimes trying to get it all done, that becomes secondary. And I'd say that's something that I really wish I could improve on.
Okay, and the reason why I asked that question is because it is never too late to evolve and be who we want to be. And the thing is you are such an important part of so many people's lives that you touch, your children, your parents, that when they're around you, they know that everything's going to be okay because Jennifer's here. Everything's going to be done because Jennifer's here. And that's a lot of responsibility, but it's also a legacy that you're leaving. You're that person that people count on. You're that person that gets things done, and that's a wonderful way to be. So take those really engaging natural qualities that you have and now add in that empathy side. So now, you know, when you're with your kids and the crazy days are going on and schedules are tight, make sure you turn to them and check in. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's anything bothering you today? Anything exciting happened today? Same with your parents, just checking in with them. Are you feeling okay? But not from like you're checking off a list, but like really from your heart, because you are such a important person in their life. Trust me, I've seen a lot of family members pass away. I've also, lost touch with people. And what I've learned over the years from saying goodbye to people or losing touch with people is those people like you in our lives, you are an important example of what it means to live full out. You keep people going. Do you see the power that you have, the importance that you are?
I absolutely do. And I'm lucky because it was modeled to me by my parents. And I hope that my kids see what I'm doing, and when it's my turn, that they'll be able to do the same sort of thing.
I promise you they will. And finding balance in one's life is really important. And I know pulled in many different directions, that's maybe a struggle. But just know that in those really long days, you are a gift to so many, and that will keep you going.
That's very kind. I have to say I feel pretty lucky most of the time, because I feel like most of the time I get acknowledged and understood for what I'm trying to do. I guess it's really coming from me. How is it that I could improve my day-to-day relations, and how can I take stress off my plate?
Well, I think that's, again, just finding patience within yourself. Be patient. Be good to yourself. Sometimes you might just need a little Jennifer time. Carve it out, plan it, organize it, schedule it. I know you're good at that. So, but do keep us posted on your progress, how things go. I'd love for you to call in anytime. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you very much for your time. Take care.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
Bye now.
Bye. So she brings up such an important element of balance and knowing what we bring to others in our life. Thank you so much for that call, Jennifer. We're going to go back to the lines. We have another caller. Welcome to the show. Hello, are you there?
Hello.
Oops. Hi, this is Nancy. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm good. Tell us what's going on today.
Yes, I was just wanted to call and get your advice for women who have kind of reached a ceiling in their career and are at a crossroads, and trying to figure out, should we stay on the path that we were on? Should we find a new path that is, more fulfilling, at that age or stage in our life? Like, what would you recommend or suggest?
Well, here's the question I have for you. I imagine when you're talking women, you fall into that category, right? That is perhaps your scenario? Okay. So you've achieved a lot of great things in your life, and that's wonderful. And perhaps you've hit that ceiling. But what you want to think about is, if you're trying to get promoted within your career, you want to get creative with how you can get there. Not always in life do we have to go down the same path. Sometimes it might be worthwhile to create our own path. That's why sometimes people start businesses of their own, or maybe they want to start a nonprofit, or maybe they've excelled and they've reached their limit within their career, but then they take on other volunteer opportunities to go up another level. People who sometimes write a book because they want to do more and be more and go somewhere else. Think about in your life, perhaps you've reached a little bit of a ceiling, but how can you bust through that ceiling? How can you in other ways tap into more achievements? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because the ceiling does not really exist. It's just like when something gets in your path, you got to go around it, you got to go over it, you got to bust through it, you got to do something. But there might be a ceiling if you're at a certain job per se and there's no promotion ability, but then you start to do other things. Maybe you join different boards, volunteer opportunities, write that book, whatever it may be, to keep yourself growing. And when you grow, it's not only just a personal achievement growth, but it can also be a financial achievement, a financial success. So with that in mind, what is something that you can do that would allow you to feel like you went up, you got beyond that ceiling?
That's a good point. That's a good idea. That's a great suggestion.
What is one thing you could do, you think?
Oh, I mean, there's so many, like you said, starting your own business and maybe becoming an entrepreneur, maybe doing something in the nonprofit sector, or even just volunteer work.
And I just wanted to hear you say it, because the thing is any one of those things can be you, can be something that you can do. And if listen to our show each week, because we always get people who are starting businesses calling in, because life is about personal growth. Well, so is business. I know in my business I've learned a lot about myself, a lot about life. So just know that we believe in you very much. And for you and anybody else listening today, if you need further coaching or assistance, because we only have so much time together on the air, feel free to give me a call at Living Full Out at 310-909-7800, extension 101, because I really want to make sure that you don't just bust through that ceiling, that you know that in your life, ceilings don't exist. Okay? So I believe in you. Keep us posted on how you evolve. And like I said, reach out to me at Living Full Out if you would like further support.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you for calling in.
Okay. You have a lovely weekend.
You too.
Okay.
So many great callers today. And again, Chris Barta, thank you so much for your inspiring story. The thing is Living Full Out is not about getting it right every time. We need to try. We need to test. We need to ask for help. We need to discover. And when I say discover, I mean it, because it isn't always about having the right answer. It isn't always about knowing exactly where we're going to go every step of the way. Discovering is so important. Go to places that you've never gone before. Try new restaurants. Put yourself out there in groups to meet new people. Take a chance on life, because when you take a chance on life, you're taking a chance on yourself. When you believe in life giving you good things, letting your dreams come true, you're believing in yourself. So there's a huge correlation between that and actually seeing action develop into your dreams and goals manifesting and becoming a reality. For my life, being with you was one of my dreams, and here I am. So again, if you need that support, I want you to call in. The Living Full Out number again is 310-909-7800. You can reach me at extension 101, or you can go to livingfullout.com. What I love about Living Full Out is knowing that anything is possible. What I love about hearing everybody's stories today is that we're sharing, we're opening up. There's a lot of clients that I work with where when trauma happens, chaos overwhelms their days, they almost feel cut off at the throat. And when we're cut off at the throat, we feel like a soda can all shook up with nowhere to go. And when you pop that top of the soda can, what happens? It explodes, right? So be good to yourself. Be patient. Don't be that soda can all shook up. Let yourself evolve and develop, take baby steps, but yet take risk, because you're worth it. I know in my life, I had to, do a lot of things that I didn't see. One thing about going blind has taught me that I don't need to see the road in front of me. I just need to keep stepping forward. So consider that. You won't always see where you're going. Just keep stepping forward. Let the passion in your heart, let the dreams and goals in your life serve almost like a magnet that's inside of you. It's going to pull you along so that you are going to be able to reach your goals and dreams. I believe in you very much. We're here each week to continue to inspire and move you forward. Next week, we have another very, very inspiring story of a gentleman who has dealt with a lot of adversity in his life. He's very resilient. He's had to ask for help, and it's going to be very, very motivating for you to be able to tap into his story and learn his lessons. Again, thank you, Chris Barta, for your engaging story and teaching us so much about what it means to never give up. I want to thank Mindy as well as Rich Hall and everybody at the Living Full Out team who helps to put this show together. We'll be back next week, and here's to you living your life full out.